Arlo from Wild Food UK. I'm not out and about foraging today. I'm in my garden, and some lovely mushrooms that I've never done a video on before have come up in quite a large ring. So I'm going to be able to show you these mushrooms in all stages of growth, or pretty much all stages of growth. But still, at the end, even after I've looked at them all, I will not be able to tell you exactly what mushroom they are. What I can tell you is that they're one of the Melanoleucas. So let's start with this one down here. We have got a few little chomped up bubbers there, but this is the first one that's worth looking at over here. Now, the Melanoleucas are more commonly known as the Cavaliers, and the majority of them are edible. And what I can say is that this is one of the edible Cavaliers. Now, Melanoleuca is a word made up of two ancient Greek words. So melas meaning black and leuco or leuca meaning white. So what that sort of hints at is that there's a bit of a contrast between the cap colour and the gill colour. In truth, none of them are black, and the gills are whitish, just ever so slightly off-white. Now, if we have a close look at those gills, you'll see that they're what we call sinuate gills. So they duck up towards the cap like free gills, like those of our fairy ring champignons, but then they curve back. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. They curve back towards the stem of the mushroom. Very crowded gills as well, but superficially, I suppose you could mistake that for a fairy ring champignon. It has this clear umbo. Is that better in the shade there? Clear umbo in the center of the cap, and the umbo is always nice and dark. And the stem with these is normally longer than the cap is wide, sometimes almost extremely so. So you can see quite long stems with not a particularly wide cap. And I suppose with that cap looking like that, you could also mistake it for one of the rooting shanks. It's not really a mushroom that grows in the same environment, this one, and I think most of the Melanoleucas like permanent pasture and grazing land and lawns and meadows. And as you can see, mine's quite a natural lawn, lots of other plants in amongst it, not just the grass. That's where you're going to find the Melanoleucas, and some of them are extremely common. Let's go and look at one a bit older. This one here. Oops, a little bit broken, but you can see that stem isn't particularly brown, but it's certainly browner towards the base. Again, much longer stem or stipe than we have cap diameter, but still that permanent umbo. Let's go on and look at this one. Still reasonably dark. They will lighten as they dry out. Still a permanent dark umbo, but these are what you're likely to see them like, because these are obviously bigger mushrooms that are going to stand out in meadows around you. Now, I'll pick this one over here. This one looks about the best. There we are. Used to be in the Tricoloma genus, I believe. Those are called the Knights, but now they've been demoted to being Cavaliers. So this is a Melanoleuca species, and that is about the best I can say. What I can say is it's probably the Polioleuca. It could be because of the browning stem, but really, I don't even know if that's a good key identifier. It could be the Melanoleuca melaleuca, or it could even be the Melanoleuca grammapodia. I'd expect to see some striations on the skirt with that one, but it's just very hard to say. This is a complicated genus of mushrooms, and they do have plenty of lookalikes, but I suppose most of your grassland mushrooms don't have this stark dark to light effect. All of your Pinalus are going to have darker gills, Russulars, I suppose, Amanitas, and well, because of the variability of the grisette, you know, if you'd broken this off and couldn't see any volval remains at the base, that could even look like a grisette. We can sort of see that grisette, familiar grisette patterning around the edge of the cap where the gills are almost visible through the cap. But there you go, umbo on a reasonably sturdy mushroom with starkly different colour gills that sinuate. What you have is most likely a Melanoleuca, and therefore most likely edible, but most likely is not good enough in the foraging world. So until you are 100% sure, I wouldn't even try these. But also, when you do, they're supposed to not be very good. So I'd say leave the Melanoleucas behind to do their job in your lawns and your meadows. They're a saprotrophic mushroom, so they're rotting down things like the grass roots and turning those things back into lovely compost for all of the plants to grow out of. And this one in my garden, that's a ring of about 15-20 feet in diameter, so I'm quite impressed with this. It must be, I'd say, at least 50, maybe more years old to have got that big, possibly more. I know this lawn's been here a while. Anyway, if you want to find out more, go to wildfooduk.com.